The first power machine we're demonstrating for you is a machine that has several names. It's either called an up and down, a straight knife, or a vertical knife. If you take a close look at the blade, as I operate the blade in slow motion, you see that the knife is moving up and down in a slicing fashion. At high speed, that will cut fabric up to the full height of the cutting area, which on this machine is 5 inches. In front of the cutting blade, there is a guard. It's a stop safety device so that if the cutter starts to bring his hand close to the blade, it'll help provide some protection. It raises up and floats on top of the surface of the fabric by a release that the operator has in their index finger on the controls. Located up here are sharpening bands, which when activated will continuously sharpen the blade as the machine is being operated. The operator would pull the machine away from the fabric, sharpen the blades, and continue cutting. In operation, what the cutter does is activate the machine, and as you'll see, cut through the fabric following the marker lines. The cutter's job is to split the line in half in order to get good, accurate cutting. You can imagine the possibility of staying on that line is quite difficult. In addition, the cutter will have a glove that they will wear on their free hand. This glove is made out of chainmail, and it provides an added level of protection to prevent the operator from actually cutting their skin. Because of the fact that the glove is made from chainmail, it's flexible and provides a little bit of tactile feel. And it provides a little bit of advanced warning before the cutter is actually cutting their skin. The reason that's necessary is that the cutting blade is surgically sharp, and you don't actually feel the blade cutting your skin when it starts to cut into you. And so therefore it's necessary in order to keep the cutter from being in danger. As the cutter works, the scraps that are cut away from the rest of the lay and from the component parts are pushed aside and then dumped in a basket. When the cutter comes to a place where there is a notch in the fabric that needs to be there in order so sewers know where to sew, the operator will bring the machine up to the edge of the fabric and then gently push the blade in to cut the notch so that every layer of fabric from top to bottom has a cut notch in exactly the same place. Notice that the machine is somewhat unstable. It has a tendency to wobble. It's up to the operator to make sure that the machine doesn't wobble in order to get good, accurate cutting. And as you can see, every layer of fabric has a cut notch in exactly the same location. The cutter would continue to cut the parts out of the lay, continuing to move the cloth weights in position and out of position in order to stabilize the fabric while they're cutting. In addition, in order to stabilize smaller parts, the cutter will use a cloth clamp, clamping the fabric in the cloth clamp, and sometimes using the cloth clamp to actually manipulate the fabric during the cutting process. And this allows the cutter to keep their fingers further away from the blade.